So today I want to talk about something I saw where Trump was talking about he is trying to implement a new law where he's going to require people to speak English if you want to operate a commercial vehicle. I don't know why. I thought it was a little bit funny because it's like I don't know if anybody's ever seen a movie A Day Without a Mexican. That's pretty much what it's going to be if that ever gets implemented. I mean, it would be utter and complete chaos. Do you understand how bad the ports would be ran? You know, it would be a complete disaster. You know, but I guess so. You know, trash truck industry. More than half of the trash would not get picked up. Like, there'd be no trash picked up. I mean, it sounds great in theory, but majority of people don't want to pick up trash. Majority of people don't want to sit in a truck and work 10 to 12 hours inside of a truck. And let's be real. A lot of people say, you know, we got to get rid of this immigrant problem or whatever, but nobody wants to do the immigrant jobs, right? And a lot of immigrants that some of these people complain about, you know, they're the first people when they get a business. That's the first ones that they hire. They hire other immigrants because immigrants are often the class that is exploited. Like, you can exploit immigrants because they come to this country pretty much just trying to earn their way, or just have a living and keep a roof over their head, put food in their mouth. And they'll take a job where they get paid pretty much pennies on the dollar that somebody who's born American wouldn't. You get what I mean? There's so many rules and laws and stuff like that. Let's just say in California, if you're trying to operate a business, it's way more expensive to operate a business in California than what it would be in, say, like Texas or some other state. But people complain about immigration, but immigrants are often the exploited class by capitalism, and there's no way around that if we're just being honest. So I just thought that was just ridiculous. Like, are we really saying that you know, they're taking these jobs, these valuable jobs, when it's like a lot of people just can't do those type of jobs. They're not willing to do those type of jobs. It sounds glamorous until you know, you get there and you're like, man, dude, this sucks. You know, I'm sitting up here working this job. Being a commercial truck driver isn't glamorous at all. It does feed the family, and most people, like I said, they're not in the trash industry. They don't make as much money as us. They're nowhere near six figures. They're picking up, I mean, they're working crazy amounts of hours, 5-6 days a week, and, you know, they're not making the type of money that most of us who are on the higher end of commercial truck driving make. Also, something interesting that I saw was something regarding the tariffs, right? You know, with Trump and this whole trade war with China, the UPS announced that there's going to be 20,000 layoffs and 73 facility closures. And they said, you know, this Trump tariff stuff, this is, you know, we got to shut it down. You know, they're making a profit. Let's get that out there. You know, UPS is making a profit, right? They're still posting profits, but they're just like, look, let's try to make as much profits as we possibly can and be kind of in the green, right? So who does that affect, right? Who does that affect? Of course that affects people who are union members, right? 73 facility closures, right? And we're already dealing with a lot of stuff in the industry when you go to these meetings where they talk about how people are being laid off, and people are struggling to get work. So when you hear stuff like this, right? Like when you hear stuff like this, it's like, I don't know how you can be in support of an administration that clearly has no regard for American jobs, because the trade wars is affecting the industry that deals with trade. That's a trade dependent industry. The package handling industry is a trade dependent industry. So even if it's a policy that's aimed at boosting American strength, it ends up actually hurting American workers. So I find that particularly crazy. When we look at this stuff, man. I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say. Oh yeah, I don't know if I spoke about this already, about Trump. He got mad at Jeff Bezos because Jeff Bezos pretty much said that Jeff Bezos says, look, I understand that those tariffs are being raised, and because of that, the prices of our products might go up. And Trump got mad, and Trump said, oh, well, that's un-American. That's un-American of Jeff Bezos. But look, this is the bottom line. If China decides, look, this is a tariff percentage that Americans have to pay for us to do trade, the consumers are going to have to pay for it. Bottom line. That's the way that it works. Anytime in trade, the consumer is going to catch it, because the way that capitalism works, the businesses aren't going to take that hit. This is why we saw what happened with UPS. They're like, even though they're in a profit, they're like, no, we're not taking a hit. We're going to make sure that the workforce either catches, we're going to have to make some cuts, whether it's managers or whoever working for UPS. We got to shut down facilities, whatever we have to do to stay in the green. And Jeff Bezos is pretty much saying the same thing. Now, it hasn't been set in stone, but this was something that was kind of put out there. Because he blamed the tariffs publicly, Jeff Bezos. So Trump is like, look, that's un-American. It's all political theater. You got to create a scapegoat, deflect blame for economic consequences, and you have to gaslight your followers into believing that criticizing tariffs is like being anti-American, because after all, it's supposed to help the workers. When you see so many good federal jobs being cut, like great federal jobs being cut, a lot of federal programs, a lot of people who work and get federal money, what's more American than a government job? That being cut? I don't know. I'm just a fly on the wall, but yeah, this is a political video. Keep in mind, I'm going to be uploading more POV videos on my channel. There's going to be a lot more POV videos on my channel, as far as like showing what I do throughout the day. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.